after hearing that SENZO MEYIWA sent the Hawks to go and pick up a cell phone of a TikTok comedian who made a parody video about SENZO MEYIWA, the police minister or former police minister, depending on what's going on, post, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi press briefing. Hello, Mzansi. Welcome back to another video. So I'm sorry. Right here, today's video, I want to do a little brief introduction. I was sent down a rabbit hole by the masterminds. Well, technically, they didn't send me. They kind of posted the video where they were talking about Thabang Makeleni. Okay, why do they say Makaleni in that courtroom? But anyway, we are neither here or there. And ladies and gentlemen, in Ngomizulu's words, famous words, I am in possession of allegedly Thabang Makeleni's death certificate. Hello. So I don't want to show it in full view over here on my YouTube channel because, I don't want the Hawks to come and look for me and take away my cell phone. Hello, Mzansi. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you for the likes. You know the house rules. Hit that like button right away at the end of the video. If you are unsatisfied, you're more than welcome to take back your life. But I promise you this video is one for the records. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you hit that like button. Grab some popcorn. This one is going to be a tough one to go through. So I am going to do what I've never done before. Trigger warning. And I'll say it again. Trigger warning. And I'll repeat one more time. Trigger warning. That means if the SENZO MEYIWA case, speaking about intricate details, triggers you, this is not the video for you. You already know I have lots more videos that you can watch to break down the case, but this one we are going to be doing a case study, on Mzilikazi wa Afrika. Who is Mzilikazi wa Afrika? Well, Mzilikazi wa Afrika is a multi-award winning investigative journalist and pan-Africanist, tweeting in his personal capacity as an independent thinker and not a praise singer. He also has a trigger warning as well. If you find my tweets, which is going to be what we're going to cover the rest of this video, to be provocative, insensitive, explicit, against your religious belief or political agenda, please go ahead and follow him, okay? But over here, don't watch this video any further, okay? If any of the above apply to you, do not watch this video further because we're going deep, okay? This is a case study. At the end of this video, you will also have an LLB, okay, from the online streets of University of YouTube, okay? And he continues to say, nobody is holding a gun to your head. Disclaimer, I'm not here to live up to your expectations. Neither you are here to live up to mine. And with that, I have one more disclaimer. If you are from the MEYIWA family, I would also ask you respectfully, all protocol observed, please don't watch this video any further. And with that, let me pause for a second just to give you time to click out so you don't hear how this video starts. This video is inspired, or should I say triggered, by the masterminds Jabs and Patricia Mashale after the video they shared covering Thabang Makeleni. Okay, Thabang Makeleni, which was the big topic inside Phakathi within Judge Rato's courtroom, as the judge himself said, wait, let's dive deeper into Makeleni, especially who took his statement. And if it's Gininda, you already know. State, I'm helping you here. I'm helping you with your homework, and I'm helping you pass with resounding colors, because how can we possibly give Pisa, grant him the section 174 application after that amazing application by Uzwitegalanga, advocate Nxumalo Zithulele. Okay, so basically, I ran. Okay, no, I didn't even run. I flew first class to Twitter streets to search for that death certificate because I wanted to see it. Okay, I have a curious mind. Guilty confession. Okay, I needed to see it. And when I arrived there, oh my goodness, what else did I uncover? That's what we're going to go through. So first, let's talk about this death certificate. In this case study, I'll be reading these tweets in no particular order. So on the 8th of June 2022, Mzilikazi wa Afrika tweeted, Thabang Makeleni died on January 23, 2019, after he was allegedly poisoned. His death is listed as under investigation. Who asked to have a meeting with him on the day he was allegedly poisoned? What exactly did they talk about? And why was the person never questioned by the police? Okay. Then he inserts a picture of the abridged death certificate. There's his ID number. His name, Melani Thabang. His date of birth, he was born in 1995. He's male. And he was never married at the time of his passing. Place of death, ladies and gentlemen. That place, I don't know what it is about Foslorus. It's either a crime scene, or it's a place of death, or it's a place of pointing out. It's also a place of a local inspection. But Guningi over there, okay? It's also a place where Brigadier Bongani Nicholas Ginenda did not want anybody to go and visualize everything that Umuzi Sibia was describing to the court. Unfortunately for the Brigadier, the pressure was mounting. Okay, there was nothing he could do to stop it. But Lloyd did try with his struggle evidence, of course. He did try. He came up with the photo album. He came up with aerial shots. And the defense said, no further questions for this witness. We want to go to the local inspection. Now let's get back to Mzilikazi wa Afrika. What is the point of this video, and why have I gathered you in particular to join in on this online investigation as we go back in time? Mzilikazi wa Afrika tweeted this. How much was spent on SENZO MEYIWA's funeral? Take a look at the photos on your screen. That is SENZO MEYIWA with his soccer mates the day of his funeral, which was in 2014, ladies and gentlemen. That is the national hero's place of rest long after the cameras and politicians and the Dondonis have left, and it's just the family and the remains of their son. SENZO was buried in November 2014, but this is how I found his grave when I first visited there in July 2020, guys. That's 6 years later. The whole captain of the national team, as well as the Orlando Pirates. Mzilikazi wa Afrika goes on to say, I made a few calls, and SAFA decided to erect a tombstone in October, and in December it was vandalized. Then the question becomes, why had SAFA not done anything about his tombstone? They made all those rosy promises at his funeral. They had people come in from all over the country, but they could not even do a tombstone for the national goalkeeper. Let's continue on. Mzilikazi wa Afrika continues, and he goes on to share, I was happy that at least I did something for SENZO. Got him a tombstone he deserves as a national soccer hero, buried at Heroes Acre Cemetery. Then boom, his tombstone was vandalized. By who and why, I honestly don't know, and still puzzled about this to this very day. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who could possibly go and do such an atrocious thing? Why? 1. Who vandalized SENZO MEYIWA's tombstone in the Heroes Acre Cemetery in Chesterville, Durban in December 2020? 2. Where were the security guards when the tombstone was vandalized? 3. What message are the culprits are sending to the MEYIWA family? 4. Was anybody ever arrested? These are all great questions. And was there a docket, a case file, done, anything? Like, if it's not SENZO MEYIWA's time of passing away, being taken to the hospital, his tombstone, injustice in the court, it's just a continuous vicious cycle of injustice and no peace, no closure for the MEYIWA family. And then the question becomes why and who. Let's continue down with Mzilikazi wa Afrika's tweets. So from the tombstone disaster, now we move into the courtroom disaster, or should I say the investigative disasters. And this tweet is dated the 16th of November 2022. Mzilikazi wa Afrika says, Justice for SENZO MEYIWA without any fear or favor. The MEYIWA family needs closure and justice, not casual visits. The MEYIWA family wants to know the truth. Who pulled the trigger? Who is the mastermind? And why was their son unalived that night? Not gossip. Hashtag SENZO MEYIWA trial. So he dropped something there. Not casual visits. Who is casually visiting the MEYIWA family? Could it be the investigators? Could it be interested parties? Could it be distractors? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let's continue on. Mthokozisi is a cousin to Senzo's wife, Umandisa Mkhize, and a friend to Kelly Khumalo, but isn't related to Longwe Twala. Mthokozisi has opened a case against the police after he was allegedly assaulted when he refused to make a false statement about what happened. Hashtag SENZO MEYIWA TRIAL. This is dated the 21st of November 2022. What? So, he also tweets and says on the 8th of June 2022, who was the original lead investigator in this case and why was he or she removed? Who took over from him or her? And again, why was he or she removed? Who are the names of Senzo's killers that his own father, Sam, gave to the police in May of 2015? Who was his source? Hashtag SENZO MEYIWA TRIAL. So let me bring you to present day where we have Unhlanhla Mkhwanazi and the political killings task team Don the dockets, which are now being returned. Okay, they're going back to the KZN after they were taken away and put on Shadrack Sibiya's desk, and Shadrack Sibiya has gone to court to force Masemola to let him come back to work because the dockets are on his desk. Now, just in case you don't know, anytime there's investigator transfer or changes, that impacts the investigation. So when he asks who was the original investigator, why were they changed? Why were they removed? And then what happened to whatever investigations they covered, including the names that Senzo Meyiwa's father dropped? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section down below. You already know how we go. Let's continue on. Just in case you're asking yourself, why are we doing this? Why are we going through these tweets? There is some relevant information here, which I believe were not transversed inside Phakathi within Judge Ratta's courtroom. Why were the investigators not also asking these questions? And also to get to the bottom of what really happened. Also, we need to document these and we need to resuscitate them. We need to revive them. These tweets that were done in 2020 and went, unnoticed, I would say, in my opinion, because you can see the viewership is quite low, and I believe not a lot of people were online back then. So we are kind of waking up these tweets, okay? We are reviving them from the tweet archives. Let's continue on, but we are now transitioning into the case, okay? Yeah, the case, the evidence, the people in the house. So this is not the time for you to click out of the video. Hit that like button and let's continue on. Mzilikazi wa Afrika continues to tweet. This is the 12th of June 2022. He says, who used Senzo's phone for more than 24 hours after he was unalived? Why only one phone was stolen that night while there were more than 8 different cell phones, including a whole iPhone, in the house that night? Who was the first person to be called after Senzo was unalived, and why that person? Because 10,111 was not called. Okay, let's continue. More questions. Who visited General Philani Ndlovu for hours before he died, and what did they want from him? Why there is no statement from him explaining what happened on the night Senzo was unalived? Will his death not really have an impact on Sergeant Mosia? Pins everything on him. You remember what happened inside Phakathi within the court? Let me know your thoughts on General Philani Ndlovu's unaliving. Yeah, that is also quite suspicious. And why is my lord not asking for his statement post-mortem? Yeah, let's continue on. Momentum is picking up in the Senzo Meyiwa case. Mzilikazi wa Afrika tweets on the 12th of July 2022. He says, fireworks, ego trips, and more drama are expected to take a center stage today as the Senzo Meyiwa trial resumes. Expect more delaying tactics, more circus, and no drama, but definitely no justice. And now in present day 2025, let me know, what's your status on the justice? Are we closer to justice? Are we any closer to this justice that we seek? And then, of course, there is the best friend, the childhood friend. One of Senzo Meyiwa's best friends, Utumelo Madlala, who was in the house when he was unalived, is expected to testify tomorrow. This tweet is from the 12th of September 2022. He was in Joburg for less than an hour when Senzo was unalive. It would be interesting to hear where he spent the night and why he didn't attend the funeral. And speaking of the funeral, well, here's your answer. Tell me this. Who took Utumelo Madlala to visit Senzo's grave in the middle of the night after the Meyiwa family barred him from attending Senzo's funeral? Why was Umthokozisi Twala kidnapped and tortured by the police? What lies they wanted him to say in his affidavit? Hashtag who unalived Senzo. Ooh, let's just pause for that. Yep, this tweet is from the 12th of June 2022. We move on. Shortly after Senzo's funeral, a senior police officer kept Utumelo Madlala away from the investigating team. She kept telling them that he was in a witness protection house in Cape Town while she kept him in a hotel in Richards Bay. What were they cooking? Hashtag SENZO MEYIWA TRIAL. Wait a minute. Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comment section down below. Yeah, this is interesting. She who? On the 18th of November 2022, Mzilikazi Afrika tweeted, "Breaking news, one of Senzo Meyiwa's childhood friends, Umthokozisi Twala, is expected to take a stand today as a new witness." Umthokozisi spent a week with Senzo along with singer Kelly Khumalo and her sister Zandile. Okay, I'll let you do 2 and 2. 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. And then Longwe Twala is upset. But let's continue reading. And her sister Uzandile, and was in the house when Senzo was unalived. Hashtag SENZO MEYIWA TRIAL. Woo! Next one says, this was on the 18th of November 2022. While Utumelo was in a fake witness protection, another Senzo's friend who was in the house, Umthokozisi Twala, was summoned to submit additional information. But instead, he was reportedly assaulted by the police after he allegedly refused to make a false statement. On the 14th of November, Mzilikazi Afrika tweeted, "Breaking news, a person of interest whose name has been mentioned several times during the trial went to the Meyiwa home on Friday and promised Senzo's mother heaven on earth. He traveled from Joburg to Umlazi 3 days before the trial resumes. Justice for Senzo. Hashtag SENZO MEYIWA TRIAL." And in the comment section, let me know who you think this mysterious person is who promised Senzo's mother heaven on earth. Why would they visit her? Why? And this is just days before the trial resumes. But let's continue listening on. This is on the 14th of September 2022. Remember, these are not in any particular order. I'm just reading them as I saw them. Someone who was in the house when Senzo was unalived didn't hand over their second cell phone, which they had with them on that day, which will later, in my opinion, become known as the runaway cell phone, to the police, when all cell phones present were supposed to be handed over. Who is this person, and why did they hide that particular phone to the police, that particular phone from the police? Let me know in the comments down below. More questions. Why were the people in the house when Senzo was unalived? Why didn't they call the police? Why did hashtag Utumelo Madlala refuse to attend Senzo's funeral when offered a lift to Durban by one of Senzo's friends, who took hashtag Tumelo to a witness protection after Senzo was unalived? And why did he run away from it? So he ran away from his witness protection, and also he was offered a lift by a friend. And he said, no, I can't go to the funeral. I'm going to witness protection. Why would you need witness protection if it was a robbery gone wrong? How many robberies and burglaries occur on a daily basis, and how many of those victims are offered witness protection? There, ladies and gentlemen, lies the answer of what really happened in that house. Speaking of the house, on the 17th of November 2022, Mzilikazi Afrika tweeted, "The case was sabotaged within hours after SENZO was unalived when a neighbor was allowed to clean the house." Underline the word allowed, guys, because that really happened. Allowed with no consequences to date. When VIPs allowed into the crime scene without gloves. Wow. When police failed to take statements from everyone who was in the house while their memories were still fresh. No wonder no one could describe the suspect number 2. And then they had to rely on Melani, who was the friendly neighbor who had vision 2020. He could see everything at night. He could even see a gold tooth. He could see locks. He saw everything. He's the only one who had perfect vision. Well, he's also 6 feet under and also unable to come into the witness box to be cross-examined on his vision. Perfect vision, if you ask me, at such a tender young age. So dark at night. Let's continue on. This question is one for the records. Where are the sneakers SENZO was wearing when he was taken to the hospital? Where is the towel covered with his blood that was used to cover the bullet hole when he was rushed to hospital? Why was it a mission to hand over SENZO's belongings to his family? Hashtag SENZO MEYIWA TRIAL. Hashtag Tumelo Madlala. And then there's this. 2 cell phones that were active on October 26, 2014 and in that house when SENZO was unalived weren't processed by the police. One phone was reportedly stolen by the intruders, that runaway cell phone, and the other one was hidden from the police because someone had more than one phone. Hashtag SENZO MEYIWA. And now, on the 17th of November 2022, Mzilikazi Afrika tweets, "Who consulted a Sangoma days before SENZO MEYIWA was unalived? Who visited a Sangoma hours after SENZO was unalived? Who assaulted one of the Sangomas and dumped her in the middle of the road between Johannesburg and Pretoria? Who visited SENZO's grave at night?" Ooh. I really want to say so much about this, especially in present day. You know what? I'll save that for another video. Yep. If you've made it this far in the video, drop a 1 so I know you're waiting for that part 2 for me to disclose the second parts of the video. Next, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and read this last tweet. And I remind you, it says, "Justice for SENZO MEYIWA without any fear or favor. The MEYIWA family needs closure and justice and not just casual visits. The MEYIWA family wants to know the truth. Who pulled the trigger? Who is the mastermind? And why was their son unalived that night? Not gossip. Pure answers to questions. Has the state done their job in finding out what really happened that night? Has the state done their job in presenting a airtight case against the 5 accused? Mapisa, accused number 4, has made an application for Section 174, immediate discharge from this case. It's alleged that he's the one who was the lookout guy standing outside by the window. But can you imagine, with the way Zandi was singing about everything else, why does nobody who was in the house talk about Mapisa and this man who was outside mysteriously? Not even the runner, Longwe Twala. Rumors are carried by haters. They're spread by fools and accepted by idiots. For anyone who is right upstairs to think that I am behind the account Advocate Beruru types Mzilikazi Afrika must be smoking something very lethal. My mother taught me very well, never argue with idiots, but expose them. Hashtag SENZO MEYIWA TRIAL. I'm going to end this video right here. Of course, you know I'll meet you in the comment section. Don't forget to leave, before you leave this video, to hit that like button, subscribe, done everything, okay? Share this video so we wake up these tweets and get some crucial answers which haven't been asked inside that courtroom. And with that, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on my next upload. Bye!